Okay, so good day, everyone. So let's now have Module 6. So let us continue Module 6, entitled The Teacher and then the Community. So let's have first the overview. The teacher plays a vital role in the community. Why teacher plays a vital role? Because of course we all know that teachers are the ones who molds, who trains the students to become someone in the society. So if children will just be trained by the teacher, of should just we say, if the teacher will just do his or her part, then surely students will become a better citizen. And if this will happen, of course, we will have a better community. It is indeed a requirement, so that's why it is indeed a requirement for the teachers to be aware of their responsibility, because again, being a teacher is no joke. So make sure that you know what are the roles and responsibilities of your chosen profession, because again, this is all about molding youngsters or learners of the state and the community, as mentioned in the Code of Ethics for professional teachers. The performance of a teacher will be reflected to what the learners can do. So that's why, according to a lot of researches, then it's true that what the teacher do will really reflect to the student. So that is referred to teacher factor. So in the community and to the state, the following are the points to be reflected on. Number one, a teacher cannot separate himself or herself from the community of which he or she is part. She or he, together with his or her teaching profession, has a social dimension. Can you tell me something about this, Romel Lameda and Shaira May? Why a teacher cannot separate himself or herself from the community of which he or she is part, or she or he, together with his teaching profession, has a social dimension? Can you tell me something about this? Okay, same question too. For a while, I'm going to look for students to find names for the students who are going to answer the same question. Same question to Emeline Carino and Eva Marie Roncales. The same question to Gallego. Okay, number two, education has meaning and function to the extent that is relevant to the society within which it exists. So really, education have this big role in the society, because again, in education, this is a process of training, of transforming students to become someone in the society. So they will be the one now, the future generation, or this students who are being trained will be the future of the society. So the teaching profession, number three, the teaching profession has function only to the extent that is able to fulfill the needs of the society and contribute to the development of people in the society. So the teaching profession is useless if they cannot transform students into someone The teaching profession is no sense at all if the students, if after graduating of the students, when they are now in the real world, in the outside world, in the outside world, or the world of the school, teaching is useless if they cannot apply, if students cannot apply in the society what they have learned. So the main function of the teaching profession again is to bring out the potential of these students so that after school it can do better in the society. So there should be this application. So actually, that is the main purpose of the teaching profession. That is, again, the self-development of the students for the sake of the community. So this module will also discuss the sociological considerations affecting the learning environment. So the first part is external environments and accountability of schools. So I asked already some of your classmates with regards to this figure. So this is selected external influences and constituencies for school districts. So what are the external influences of the school? First, we have the political and legal patterns. So, of course, when we speak of political, this is governed by those who are in the position in which it affects how the school is being run. So that's a fact that whoever are in the position, they want to do something. The school is also affected because, of course, school is one of the institutions of the community, and the community is being handled or managed by the politicians, who are in the position. So that's why this is one of the external influences. Okay, again, school, of course, school is still part of the community. And who manages the community? Those are the people who are in the position. So like, for example, just a simple example is, for example, suspension of classes whenever there are typhoons. So if the mayor would tell to the whole community that the classes will be suspended, of course, school should follow what the mayor announced, because again, school is part of the community. Okay, so next is we have here societal conditions. So for the societal conditions, so what is the condition of the society? Like, for example, what is happening right now? Like, for example, the pandemic. So this is one of the external influences. So this is the first time, actually, in my almost 10 years of being a teacher, not almost, but in my decade of teaching, this is the first time that that the schooling is through online. Okay, so students will be submitting their requirements to online, to different platforms, no face-to-face classes. Because again, just like what I said a while ago, school is part of the community. So what is the condition of the society? So there is pandemic. So the school will be directed to stop the face-to-face in order to avoid this virus. So societal conditions. So next is the economic and market forces. So the school is also affected by the economy. Of course, like what I've said a while ago, school is part of the community in which it is being run with the politicians or people who are in the position, and in connection to the societal condition. So like for example, there is a problem. The community is experiencing downfall when it comes to the economy. Then of course the government cannot support the financial needs of the school. So the tendency now is the school will be affected. How? In so many ways. Like for example, the salary of the teachers, the the free the free materials that is being given to the students. So the school will really be influenced, will be affected with what is happening with the economy. So with the budget that the government will now give to the school, so it will really affect the school if there are no budgets already for this school because of what is happening to the economy. Like for example, let's give an example even to private institutions, not just in the government. So economy, a good example for this is some of the private schools do not exist anymore right now because of the pandemic. So since some of the some of their clients in private schools, since they've realized that since all schools, it may be private or public, they have to abide with the rule that there will be no face-to-face. So the clients of the private schools realize that the education in private and public is just the same for this time of pandemic. So tendency is they transferred their children to public schools. So economy. Another is in connection to the economy. So like for example is some of the clients of this private school is they don't have job anymore because of this pandemic. So the tendency is they're going now to transfer their children to the public school. So what will happen now to this private school? So they will need now for them to close their school because they do not have clients anymore. So they do not have financial resources anymore. How are they going to give the salary of their employees because they do not have resources anymore? So another is one of the external influences is the information technologies, especially this time that it is that information technology is very important. So because nowadays if we do not have internet, then students or even the teachers will be left behind. Especially that there are mostly we are using internet, okay, in contacting our students, especially when you have a class that is through internet because of because there is no face-to-face classes anymore. So that yes, information technologies that also affects how the school is being run. Okay. And even before the pandemic, there's always this technology is very important for the students not to be left behind. So that is why even the teachers, even the old teachers or the traditional teachers are doing their best for them to be able to adjust or just for them to learn how to use computers. Okay? So information, that is information technologies. Another is for the students to become globally competent. It is this information technology is very important for them to be aware also of what are new, the innovations, even if we do not have those things in our school, but at least we can see it through internet. It's like already that we are experiencing those things. So another is we have this cultural values. Okay, what about this cultural values? So why this cultural values now is one of the external influences. And a good example for this is when the school have this memorandum that the teachers are not allowed to put, unless it's a Catholic school, to put the image of Jesus Christ just to respect the other students who are not Catholics. But just like what I've said, not unless the school is a Catholic school. But in the public school, there is already the memorandum that you're not allowed to put the image of Jesus Christ inside the classroom to show respect to some other students who are not Catholic. Okay, so cultural values. That is one being implemented in the school. Okay, so what else? Like for example, in University of the Philippines, they have students who are considered as ITA. So the school respect this ITAs. So what happened now is students are aware that this ITAs should not be bullied. Okay? They should be accepted in the school. If they deserve to be in that school, then be it. And then, of course, another external influences, one of the external influences is the demographic characteristics. So demographic characteristics, that includes now if you are a female, male, so we have this gender equality. So that also, of course, affect the school because there are some school that is just for the boys, school for the girls. So of course, that is one of the things to be considered. Like for example, in public school, there should be this equal number of students in a particular class. So demographic characteristics. Another is a good example for this is demographics, not just the gender but also the age. Like for example, for the age, we have one of the memorandum before in the DepEd is only 7 years old. If I'm not mistaken, only 7 years old are allowed to be accepted in grade 1. So that is one of the external influences for the school, the demographic characteristics. Okay, so then we have here the parents. Of course, parents, because we cater children in which these children have parents. So they're part of external influences. Another reason why they're part of external influences is, of course, we work hand in hand with the parents. We collaborate with them in molding the children. So colleges, universities, educational associations. So these are the linkages, educational associations. These are the linkages to different organizations in education. For example, what's the benefits of having linkages? Like for example, if these organizations would have trainings and seminars, then the teachers of the school will be asked to attend. And of course, if they will ask to attend, then of course the learning of the teachers will be upgraded. Accrediting agencies, these are the organizations that will monitor and supervise the performance of the school. If they're doing well, if they're doing their roles. Okay, so legislators, regulatory agencies, unions, and taxpayers. Okay, so two perspectives on environment. So we have the resource dependence perspective and institutional perspectives. So we already mentioned this before in the first video. So for a resource dependence perspective, dependence is characterized as the extent of the need for a resource and its availability. This is directly related to the need of the resources controlled by the other organizations. Suppliers gain power to decide whether schools get resources they need and determine if the schools can use the resources the way they want. If organizations are unable to generate resources internally, they must enter into external exchanges which may consume vital resources or demand changes from the organization. So we're done with this. Last time. Administering task environments. So uncertainty and dependency threaten or constrain autonomy and drive change. Thus, organizations must cope. So what are the coping strategies? We have the buffering, the planning and forecasting, boundary spanning, adjusting operations, accommodating structures. Okay, so first, okay, so what's this uncertainty? So this is all about administering task environment. So this is when we speak of administering now is assessing. This is all about assessing, supervising, monitoring. Okay, so what is being administered? The task environments. So what are these task environments? So this or know what affects the school. So uncertainty and dependency threaten or constrain autonomy and drive change. Of course, there is this uncertainty of everything. So it's not every day that that it's always a good day. Okay, so there are this uncertainty of what will happen for that day. So the school need to be ready for these uncertainties. So, for example, accidents may happen. Okay, so financial resources may schools may experience lack of financial resources. So there are uncertainties. So what will happen now? So there are these coping strategies. So we have here the buffering. So what comes first to your mind whenever you hear this buffering? Buffering is, if we are going to describe now buffering, it's like, for example, buffering, the meaning of buffering is like, for example, you are downloading a file in the internet, downloading a file, and then suddenly there is this weak connection, then what will happen now is it will buffer. There will be this slow motion of downloading your file, and to the point that it will stop. Okay, so that is buffering. So if you are going to relate this now to the school, like for example, so what is buffering now? If you're going to relate this to the school, how are we going to face this event in which, like for example, there's no budget for that particular activity, and so the tendency is the school will stop that program. So buffering is like standby. So that is one of the coping strategy, standby, because for sure someone or linkages will come to help the school with regards to their problem. So just stand by. Do not pull out the program, because the reason why you have that program is for the sake of the students. So that's why you have that program. It's just that there are uncertainties. You were not able to see that there will be this kind of problem, like for example, financial resources. So just a standby, and then maybe with the linkages the school have, there will be some donations, and eventually the program will continue. So buffering. So that is buffering. So next coping strategy is planning and forecasting. So how about planning and forecasting? So you plan for you to be able to have, of course, in planning, you will consider the uncertainties. So that's why you will have plan A, plan B, plan C. You are already forecasting what will happen. So that's why you have plans. If plan A will not happen, will not be realized, then at least there is another plan. Now, guys, we are talking all about the uncertainties. So again, the first coping strategy for this kind of circumstances, one, the coping strategies is buffering. Second is planning and forecasting. Then third is boundary spanning. So what is this boundary spanning? So for boundary spanning, this is all about, wait for a while. I'm just going to check if this is one. So we have here, it is a term to describe individuals within an innovation system who hub or adopt the role of linking the organization's internal networks with external sources of information. Okay, so with this boundary spanning, so meaning to say, you will now ask for help to some of your linkages. Okay, like for example, for sure that you cannot do that activity. There is a need for you to go out from your own world for you to be able to achieve the goal. So that is now the time that you are going to ask help from your linkages. Okay, to outsource just for this school to be able to do what is needed to be done. Okay, just for this school to be able to hit the target. So it's just like for example, okay, we cannot do this because we lack of this thing. So what will happen now is you are going to collaborate with other organizations just for that thing to be realized. So boundary spanning. So adjusting operations. So in adjusting operations, you just have to, if the activity will really not be realized, then at least you have to adjust now some of the things to be done for that activity, just for that activity to be realized. So there is a need to be adjusted for the particular activity. So accommodating structure. So for the accommodating structure, so we have here figure 8.1. So change the structure to fit the environment. So this also pertains to another coping strategy, which is the adjusting operation. So if you think there is a need to change the structure just for you to be able to fit in the environment, so do it little by little, gradually. If they want all of their students to speak or to learn in English, yes, they can do that. But for the meantime, they should do first the first step. Okay? So let's change the structure to fit the environment. Because environment is there, it is already there. We cannot change the environment. We can just improve the environment. Okay, so how can we change now the environment little by little through changing first the structure, so that time will come that there will be changes now to the environment, because you change first the structure in order to fit the environment. The time will come that if the structure fit in with the environment, the next thing that will follow now is the environment will abide now with the school or with the structure of the school. Slowly, or little by little, gradually, the goal of the school will soon be realized if they're going to do first the same accommodating structure to environmental change. Another good example of this is in kinder. Okay, so one of the things that they do is making sure that the big books that they're using relates to the kind of the environment that the children have. Because if this will continue to happen, then how the students learn will become meaningful. Why? Because they can relate to what is in the big book, because they see it in their environment. So it's like students can easily understand what the teacher is trying to convey to them, because they can relate. Okay, so anyway, let's change the structure to fit the environment. Not changing the environment, just to fit the structure. Because in the first place, why is it that the school exists? That is because of the environment or of the community. Without the community, there will never have the school. Okay, so if the environment is stable, a mechanistic structure is an effective accommodation. So take note. So if the environment is stable, a mechanistic structure is an effective accommodation. So can you tell me why? Ruth McCallion and Teresa Manyoso, why if the environment is stable and the mechanistic structure is an effective accommodation? So same question to Jeffrey Gabrito and Giselle Segadal. Okay, next. So if the environment is unstable, then an organic structure is the better fit. Why? Why Miko Vent Colasar and Mirna Marino? Also to Mary Jane Magallanes and Maria Kiana Layogoy. Okay. So if the environment is stable and the organizational structure is organic, a dysfunctional flexibility emerges. Why? Can you tell me something about this? Rachel Florano, Eddie Ann Jerusalem, Princess Diane Hernandez, and Prilin Cabagdong. Okay, if the environment is unstable, the structure is mechanistic, a dysfunctional rigidity is produced. Can you tell me why? Herilyn Cantong and Christian Cantong, also to Rodil Sagonay and Emmeline Carino, also to Claudine Saloed. Okay, so again, the environment structure fit. Change the structure to fit the environment. If the environment is stable, a mechanistic structure is an effective accommodation. If the environment is unstable, then an organic structure is the better fit. If the environment is stable and the organizational structure is organic, a dysfunctional flexibility emerges. If the environment is unstable and the structure is mechanistic, a dysfunctional rigidity is reduced. Okay, so please answer again by answering. How are you going to answer? You just have to write in the YouTube comment section the question first before the answer. Okay, so we have here another is administering task environments.